And it didn't work as I thought it would be. But anyway, hi, Finance and Coffee, and welcome to this very special edition of, it's a very good chat with my good friend Mike Felton from the MFWA. Hi, Mike, how are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me this morning.
Mate, again, I don't know what to say, but it's a Saturday morning. I'm so grateful you're willing to give up time to have a chat to the community this morning. So we are going live to the Facebook group and also the LinkedIn page as well. There's comments as per always. If you have any questions to ask Mike, please go ahead and do that. We may or may not ignore you, but that's something else. But anyway, let's get into the game. So, Mike, you were in Melbourne yesterday. Are you able to tell us what was going on? Because that was a very quick fly in, fly out thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it was, Deanne. I was delighted to get an invitation from the Federal Assistant Treasurer and Minister for Housing, Michael Suka, for a meeting in the government's Melbourne offices, so we could continue our discussions on the wonderful mortgage broking industry. We met with Treasury as well, and we just had a chat about the reforms that our industry has been through, how effective they've been, the strong outcomes that are being produced, the data. These are discussions we've been having for quite some time. And Treasury said they were really pleased with our industry. No systemic evidence of broker misconduct or consumer detriment, and really positive signs in all the outcomes that we're producing. And at that time, we were formally advised by the Minister that the 2022 review of broker remuneration is no longer going ahead. Delighted to get the confirmation of that. We were also asked to provide MFAA media grabs to be included in the release, which was really pleasing.
Well, mate, that's pretty big freaking news, right? So my my next question to you, silly as it may, but what's your opinion on the outcome at the moment? Because it's not small, is it? So
no, look, it's a massive development for our industry, Dean, and it's reward for the tremendous reforms that you've all brokers have had to face and go through. A lot of hard work. It's also a result of, I have to say, relentless work of the MFAA and our members, as we've worked with policymakers to equip them with the right information to make the right decision on this one. And I certainly think when I look back in time, I'll look at this as another defining moment and a very proud one for the MFAA team. So really, really happy with this outcome. It's been a lot of work.
That's awesome to hear. So my next question to you, right, is obviously this is not something that just happened overnight. There was a lot of damn hard work on, well, obviously for yourself to get this done, right? So are you able to share with the audience, what you did leading up to this?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact of the matter is that this hasn't been achieved overnight. It's been in the making for 3 and more years. I mean, it started with all the reforms that have been put in place. That was everybody's effort. And that has set up and strengthened our industry. It's, as I've said before, aligned interests and expectations, mitigated conflicts, and improved the information sharing and reporting of misconduct, which is really important. And then we've seen the data following. So it's about tracking that data. It's about taking that combination of reform and data and outcome, and putting that into the conversations that we've had over the last 2 and indeed 3 years to ensure that we do get the appropriate decision. It's all about informing decision makers, ensuring that they know what it's an amazing story when you think about our industry and you look at the outcomes and you look at the data. 0.39% of African banking and finance complaints are about mortgage brokers. Your NPS score is between 77 and 82. Your market share is 2/3. Your arrears are not different to the arrears that are coming through the branch network. When you look at that data, that is data on an industry that is really doing exceptionally well. And as I say, it really has been a fantastic demonstration as well of an industry that's in a very different place to what it was 5 years ago. But this was always going to be different to a Royal Commission. We were never going to be defending ourselves, but the Commission was going to need to make the case for change. So you've got those reforms in your corner, you've got that data, and then you get data out in the December quarter, which is a record 95.6 billion. Again, a huge vote of confidence from consumers. That is 7.1 percentage points up on the 59.4. And I actually handed over slides in the meeting showing that. And you get this just massive spike. And that's trust and confidence coming through in consumers, particularly those that have not used a broker before and have benefited from the amazing, service. And before, that used to be based on experience, based on convenience, based on choice. Now you've got this unrivaled best interest duty, which really does differentiate our channel from what's available in the branch network. So we've been having this conversation behind closed doors, but in December, I did a keynote address to the Credit Law Conference attended by ASIC, Treasury, government, indeed even AFCA, and it was an ability to take this very positive narrative, this is an amazing story, and show why we could proudly and confidently face any scrutiny as may be required. It really would be inappropriate for us to be publicly calling for a review to be cancelled. That would be self-serving and even counterproductive. But by showing the data and empowering policymakers to make the decision is how you get the outcome that you want. So we certainly had the right conversations behind closed doors. In recent months and weeks, there's been an elevation in discussion on it. In fact, we had Treasury reach out to us and say, right, we saw your keynote address. Let's understand, where is the data? What are your thoughts? Is a 2022 review needed? And we were able to present the new data, but also able to say that in the context of reforms, whilst we are ready to face them if needed, in the context of reforms and strong outcomes, there could be, little rationale for spending further time and resources on conducting that review. And, you then get the announcement, which is just wonderful.
That's awesome, because you're right. Well, for the one thing, wasn't it? Data is king, and you can't lie about the data. So the data is, brokers have done a fantastic job. I mean, the amount of complaints versus, like you said, in the branch, it's it's uncomparable, right? So now talking about media, right? So the media release has actually gone out on the AFR last night. Can you tell me more about those sort of things? Because obviously, prior to all this, I think most people just assume that it was just the media towards the broker, but not to outside to the general public.
Yeah. So it was run exclusively with an AFR in the AFR weekend. We gave some, compelling data, as we always do, on that combination of reform and outcomes. Suffice to say, the journo took a different tack. That's his prerogative. But all in all, it still recognizes the fact of the matter is our industry has come a long way. And when you look at this is the right outcome for the right reasons, even though they might not quote it that way. We earned this as an industry. Every broker that's on this call has sacrificed time and effort to bring in these reforms, is producing amazing outcomes, and has directly contributed to this. And I'm not just talking about, those that are engaging with key stakeholders. We know that is happening, and thank you for that. You've contributed massively. But even those that aren't have all been part of this amazing outcome, and really happy for our industry this morning.
Oh, that's awesome. So, given one of the comments that just came in here, we'll obviously put this matter to bed now. So the next one is, what's up next on the agenda? Because in every war there are certain little battles. This is one battle. Can you tell us about sort of the other sort of stuff that you're looking at as well?
Look, we got things that we are working on right across the front. There are conversations that form part of our ongoing discussions. I was with Treasury on Tuesday. I was with ASIC last week. Obviously, that one that I brought to you last week was the AFCA funding model. That's a great story. We worked on that one for 2 years. Another great outcome for the MFAA. But that one's only proposed, so we need to see that through to the end. to make sure that that proposed structure does get finalised. But I'm confident that that one's well on its way. Clawback is something that I'm speaking to many of you on. Just very briefly, that is a part of our conversation, has been for a long time, and can now get greater focus now that we've got the review out the way. The current structure lacks fairness. It's an all or nothing structure. When you look at that convergence of bid with clawback, clawback bid and cashback deals, it really is creating distortions. We can see that we're tracking data, we're working with aggregators to track data, we're providing that data through to Treasury. We need to remember that Treasury support was critical to us surviving the Royal Commission. And part of Treasury's thinking, if you look at their submission to the Royal Commission, they said conflicts in the absence of clawback and trail would in fact be worsened. So it's the third leg of a stool that holds up the other two legs. It cannot be removed, or we will be putting upfront and trail at risk, but it does need to be changed. It is not fair. It needs restructuring, either a more gradual step down and amortization over term, or indeed it should stop at 12 months. Lots of work needed. It's not going to happen overnight, but the conversations are happening. Lender turnarounds, an ongoing discussion. Lenders have spent a massive amount of time improving this, but we still want to have a situation where a customer receives the same turnarounds regardless of how they elect to engage with a lender, whether that's through a branch network or through a broker. There should not be a differential. We should be able to compete on even terms. We'll continue to have those discussions. Discharges, another one. Discharges are an opportunity for retention teams to reach out. We all know that. We know it's happening. We spent a lot of time with the ACCC in 2020. You'll see us extensively quoted in their home loan price inquiry final report. They came out and said that there could be no justification for more than 10 business days. Well, we know that they, in many instances, are taking. So we've had a chat, and we will continue to have the discussions as to, well, how do we now implement those and give some, a way of enforcing that recommendation on 10 days. The final one, look, there's many others, but the final one is CDR, open banking. We did a massive amount of work on this. We got a great win last year with brokers being recognized as trusted advisors. There's a lot of system software development about you being able to now access this open banking data in a very usable way, so that it actually provides value to you. Watch this space. I've seen some amazing developments that we've been shown. It will come to fruition in the next 12 months. There's going to be ongoing consultations in this area, and we're obviously there to ensure that you can compete on a level playing field. So lots happening, and we certainly won't be resting on our laurels. There's work to be done.
Mate, that's awesome. So for the audience listening in, because obviously that comment about clawbacks and so forth have popped up and do continue to pop up, and then there's comments about whether your industry body is listening to you. Mike's just told you he's listening and he's working hard. Okay. The one last one I'm just going to throw into you, right? There was actually a comment on the group before about whether you guys can take over, advocating for the financial planning industry, because you've done such a great job for the brokers, right? So what do you say to that, Mike?
No, I don't have enough hours in the day to do that. No, look, our focus is mortgage brokers. We take that as a massive compliment, but we represent the mortgage broking industry, and that's a full-time role. There's a lot of work to be done. We know things aren't perfect. We need to sort them out one at a time. We assure you, we are looking at it, and we'll continue to represent this great industry. And I hope you all have a more restful weekend, having got this news. You deserve it. You work damn hard. So thank you.
Mate, I can say the same thing about you. So the month of March has only been 19 days in, but you've just given the broker industry like two pretty good big wins, right? So thank you, and thank you again for doing this at short notice on a Saturday morning as well. I know that you were running on very minimal sleep, so again, I'm very thankful. Guys, let us know in the chat what you think, and we'll go from there. But Mike, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, tremendous. And thank you so much for the invitation. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
Okay, bye-bye.